New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. And hello again, dear ones. Rev Brids over here.
Rev Z right here.
And Rev Jersey Girl here, Michele Wadleigh.
And today it's March already, the 4th of March, 2025. New Thought today here on the New Thought Media Network. And a dear friend is back with us, Reverend Dr. Michele Wadleigh. I know it's been a little minute since you've been here, so give everybody the lowdown. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what we need to know to get started today.
Oh my God! What? Well, my since I've seen you, my book came out and it's doing pretty well on the shelves. Unfortunately, it landed in Target, and now Target is the most hated store in the country, and it's also available on Amazon and the same story there. But it is in Barnes and Noble. But that book came out, and now I'm ready to start editing the second book that they're publishing for me, which they took time to redo my forgiveness book, and I'm very excited about that. As you know, my forgiveness subject is my heart. And then, and I'm in the middle of my third book for this publisher, and it's still surrealistic when you find yourself doing something you didn't see coming. I never saw this. There was no predicting that Michele was going to be an author. Now, I always wanted to put something in print, and I had little books that I did, prosperity book, and I have a Lenten book, 40-day book that I wrote for people like us to take the shame and to take all of that out of the conversation. Mm-hmm. But I am. But it serves us. So that's all exciting. I got all that going on. Dealing with, my house, my husband who's been diagnosed. And so it's time to show up as a loving, caring wife. And so I'm doing that. And life is good. Life is good.
Mm-hmm. Right on. I love hearing that. So I saw something go by and I have to go chase it down to confirm the time, but I love how you're constantly of service. You're offering up a free evening, I think it is, workshop for graduates of different classes that you've given. Mm-hmm. And so this, sorry folks, this isn't open for everybody, but if you've done work with Michele in the past, and I love that kind of way of continuing to contribute to, it's not just about selling books, it's not just about right? It's not just about selling classes. It's about creating that deeper connection with people. I've always really appreciated that about you.
Thank you. And actually, I do have something else I'm very excited about. When was it? I don't know, a month ago when the movie came out, Bob Dylan, what was the name of the movie?
Unknown or something.
What is it, Z?
Unknown or something like that. The Unknown or something like that.
Anyway, I was so moved. And I was reminded of my youth, reminded of a feeling, reminded of a sense of peace. And so my organization, the Planned Happiness Institute, in collaboration with the Center for Spiritual Living and other organizations are welcome, we're putting on a peace concert in June, the day before Father's Day, and I am so excited. I don't know if it'll be streamed. I'm not so sure about that. We're not that well endowed with equipment and streaming equipment and all that, but we might do that. but I'm so excited because and it's now that I've been out of the pulpit for more than a year, I have taken a breath, and now I'm like, oh, now I want to serve. So I'm helping to facilitate this concert. And the other thing that I'm doing, although I don't have all the information on this yet, is I'm doing outreach in PHI with CSLNJ, and we're collecting shoes for children because there are schools in Florida where children show up. Now, there's probably other places, but I have a connection down there where these children show up to school without shoes. That's a WTF moment. Like, come on. And so we're going to be collecting shoes, and I'm taking responsibility for packing them and shipping them. And maybe at some point I'll let you know, and you can put out a call to action on one of your shows if that's possible. But so it feels good. I'm coming back giving again in a different way. I just needed a whole year to breathe. I really did. Did you find the movie?
Yes, The Completely Unknown.
Yes,
The Complete Unknown is the name of the movie.
Yeah, he Timothy Chalamet did a great job, but it was more the feeling. It was just so like, oh yeah, I remember when those songs were playing on the airwaves. So we're bringing a little old-fashioned peace back to the area, and don't we all need it right now? For Pete's sake, oh my God.
Yes. Yes. I think it is.
We're yes.
Jump in there, Z.
No, I was just saying yes, but too. I mean, there's so much distraction that's going on that if you can't find a center, finding peace is going to be challenging because there's just stuff to pull you away from a center, whatever your center is, and I think now is the time for everyone to find their center, whatever that is, and as they say sometimes, find your true north.
Yes, yeah, I love that term. People don't know this. If you're in the publishing industry, it's really complicated, and the most important thing that I have to do, believe it or not, is to grow my social media platforms, which is not my favorite thing to do, not my favorite thing to have to think about, and I'm not that good at it, So I have this going on. However, the easiest way it would be for me to get more following would be to show up angry and to jump on the chaos and the criticism. And it had my attention for a minute, Z. It did. And I'm going to what you just said about finding your true north, because I'm not oblivious. I'm reading papers, watching the news, like I'm paying attention, not just what's in these borders, but there's things going on all around the world. Some really serious, like, Civil War type things going on in a number of different places, really horrible. And so I could get on there and I could publicly bitch, moan, complain, criticize, find fault, wreak havoc, and I'd get a lot of following. But that's not who I want to be right now. I want to be the place of calm so that you can find your calm and the people next to you can find their calm. Because the thing we have to remember, and I'm sorry, I'm in a little bit of a soapbox about this, but especially those of us in New Thought, any form of New Thought, when we hang in a feeling and an emotion, we're not just experiencing it, we're also creating it. And that's what I think we're getting when we're getting all worked up. I think we have to find a way to be for the change and to do social activism, but without investing our emotions, because eventually it'll tear us down, and it's all about then co-creating more of it. So we have to find our true north. I agree with you completely.
And if you buy those followers with anger and vitriol and attacking and all of that, the minute you stop doing that, they're going to leave. It's not real. It's not, in my opinion, true engagement with those people that you're really here to engage with. By being yourself, by all of us being ourselves, not being the aggressor in an argument, but being that peace, then it's not just law of attraction. It's not just, oh, we'll get more of that. It's then we're giving that permission.
Well, and I want to make sure there are some very knowledgeable people also doing that work.
Right.
And so I do not want to make any blanket statements, because someone has to keep their eye on what's going on, right? We agree about that.
Yes.
Because we didn't do that at other times in history. Now, thank God we survived, but not everybody survived. And we closed our eyes to a lot of things. Even now, as all of this is going on, it is important that we stay awake. The only thing I want to distinction I want to create here is that we don't make an energetic and emotional investment that increases the pain and suffering. That's the only distinction I want to make here. For me, no.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I was in a conversation earlier today with some group of people, and the question or the statement is that I believe we have to go back to a real communal understanding. What does it mean to be a community? How does a community behave? How does a community supports those that have and those that don't have, right? Because right now, this environment, I believe, has set up such a container for individualism under all banners, from religion, spiritual systems, all the way up to politics, right? And it only breeds more, right? And so how do we begin to think communal, which basically is thinking about oneness, and how do we implement it? Because like you said, like the service work you're looking to do with the shoes, I mean, there should be no kids anywhere really on this goddamn planet that's walking around and ain't got no shoes.
At least not.
Hell, I got 3 pairs in my closet that I hardly wear.
Right.
Yeah.
I live in a small home. And now it's 3 adults, a cat, a dog, in a small home. And yet I'm still pondering opening my home to some people that I know to have a day of reprieve. Come, let's break bread together. Let's have a communal meal. Let's just no politics. Let's talk about our heart. Let's talk about our desires. Let's talk about maybe what our dreams have been. And, many years ago, oh God, I do miss when I was in the pulpit and I was active. I miss the creative side, is what I mean to say. And we were doing these things called peace salons. And I had anybody could have a salon. I created a format. But what you had to do if you wanted to have one in your home, you had to invite in people that didn't know each other. The purpose of these particular salons were to gather people who did not know each other and to have discussions that were little tiny, little testy, a little bit, but not impossible. And to watch as people found where they would sync up to each other and got to know each other. They were beautiful. They were a beautiful opportunity. So what I'm talking about now is a little different, but any one of us can do that. Any one of our listeners can do that. Bring people into your home for a communal meal
Mm.
Have it be a potluck and make the rules. No politics. Just peace, ease, grace. Maybe you sit around and do hand massages. I don't know. But we all I know about the rest of you. There I'm pretty good at these practices, but there is the consciousness, the collective energetic stuff that is feeding into all of us.
Yeah.
And we're all feeling a tension and a stress and a level of anxiety that is not just ours individually, but it's we're adopting it.
And
And we don't know it.
if you're not paying attention to it, I feel like sometimes I'm incredibly blessed that I get to do the work I do, because I'm not running into people all day long. I'm not working with people all day long that believe differently than I do.
Right.
I'm open to those ideas, and I can approach those ideas on my own terms, but I'm not being forced into one propaganda machine or another while I'm waiting at the bank or while I'm waiting to have lunch, because that's what they've got on at the cafeteria at the building I work at. I feel very blessed in that. And we have to be very diligent, because most people, I'm going to say, are being bombarded with that kind of constant rhetoric of politics, regardless of what side, what party, what color, what anything. We're being hammered with that in a way that it's imperative to stay awake and stay conscious of what you're saying, Michelle, of what we're letting ourselves absorb,
And
we're going
yet
to transmit that to some degree.
And yet I'm going to challenge you a little bit, okay?
Sure. We do that on this show.
Unless you get out and rub elbows with people that are not familiar to you, how do you rub off on them?
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, we have to be willing to. I'm not going to say who it is, but one of my sons voted in a way that I would not have. That's just, and then he recommended a book to me. He says, "Here, Ma, this is what I read, which caused me to vote the way I did." And it's been a great mental exercise, because I'm never not going to love my son. Oh, hell no, I'm not going to discard him. That's not happening on my watch. But it's helping me to learn how to listen to what I think is an opposing idea. Because we're not solid unless you look. You have to, you understand what I'm saying? We have to be willing to be challenged to know who we really are. Because if we're only hovering with like-minded people, we don't know.
And I think, and one thing I think in life, if we are metaphysicians, the cornerstone of metaphysics is oneness. And the moment we see an other, we have lost that idea of oneness.
Right.
And that is the challenge. How do I see that which is not me as a part of me and not as the other? Because the moment I see them or it as an other, I begin to criticize it, judge it, or venerate it beyond my own self, in some cases. So there's that polarity, there's that interplay of how do we get to this point of oneness where things that are not me or that are showing up differently than me really are a part of me, and I need to find out where it is.
Yeah, and you're so incredible. Sorry, Robert, were you going to say something?
No, go ahead.
You're so incredibly right, and the thing about it is that's who we have to be right now. The power of being a spiritual, metaphysical, new thought adherent is to walk into places and be of such energetic calm that our essence automatically does no harm and invites conversation. And there's a lot of people that don't have that kind of training, but we do. If one is in this teaching, then you're automatically a leader
Mm-hmm.
right now. And what we need are leaders. We need someone to pass, to share that, or what do you call it? Extend the olive branch. Break bread with people.
Yeah.
The beautiful Sufis that feed whenever they have the conference and they feed thousands of people.
And like now, I was reminded the other day that someone told me, he said, "Oh yeah, when you're out or when you're in your house, wherever you are, always create a slight smile."
Yeah.
So that you are more receptive.
Yeah.
That you are more approachable. Because if you're there with a stone face, well, I don't know. But if you got a slight smile, they don't know what you're smiling about. But it's inevitably, when someone sees a smile, even if they keep stone faced, they are affected.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so,
yeah.
Because they're wondering, what are you smiling about? What is she laughing about?
In my very early days of New Thought and Science of Mind, I remember Reverend Donald Graves sharing a very, very similar concept, and very vividly remembering that at work, like later that week, just at work, and I was just feeling good, and I'm walking across a floor, and somebody comes out of a doorway and just lights up when they recognize, and we didn't know each other. Right, I'm a local. She was a tourist. It wasn't like it was just that. Oh, who I see something there, and and that is important. And we need. I do agree that there's like, how much more of that can we do?
Yeah.
And if everybody's Z says it a lot, bring one, share one, bring one kind of thing. And if we can just each light up one more person,
each one teach one.
Yeah.
Each one teach one. Yeah, thank you. If we can light up that one more person in the sphere, as it were, what amazing miracles will happen.
I can't remember what it was for, but a few years back, some crisis, I don't remember. I actually cannot remember whether it was political or global. I don't know what it was, but someone had suggested to keep a candle burning in your front window as just a sign of holding the consciousness. And you know what? I'm going to start doing that again. And just to keep it lit safely in a glass, folks, please, dear God. But
yes,
but they have those saint candles. I don't care what's on it, but to keep a candle burning. What were you going to say, Z? Oh, I think
you because if nothing else, I was going to say, it's nothing else. Someone who sees that, they're going to be curious. Well, why is that? What is? They may not never ask, but their curiosity and creativity will begin to be sparked as to why is she burning a candle? And it's there all the time. It's just not like it was there last night. It's there every night.
Yeah, right. You know what?
I think I'm going to do that too.
Yeah, it'll be my own reminder, right? Then we'll. So you and I, if you're doing that, right? Then there you are in Colorado. Here I am, New Jersey. But we'll trust that. Oh, we're going to have to keep the light on. Oh, that feels really good. Keep the light on. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
Looking at my candle right now, ready to light.
Cool.
I just flashed back to the early pandemic days. So just as long as we're not like banging pots and pans at 5 o'clock, I'm okay.
What?
Do you remember?
I don't remember that.
In the very earliest days of the pandemic, maybe it was a Western thing. Z, do you remember this? People were they were banging their pots and pans at 5 o'clock at night. You were supposed to go outside your house and
just to connect.
and to scream, and screaming, well, and it was like Connect, but it was also, I think it was in honor of first responders or the people that couldn't isolate themselves, and you were supposed to go out at 5 o'clock and scream and yell and bang pots and pans and make a holy noise, as it kind of were, and
I don't
half the times
that.
I forgot and I was still working, and and all of a sudden the neighborhood's screaming and yelling, and so I'm all in for lighting a candle. I like that.
I think I'm gonna have to put some energy behind that. It just all of a sudden, like just in our I love these conversations. They're the reminder. See, this is the grounding. This is what happens when we're in conversation with like-minded people, but we're holding the peace. And I really don't want to deny, because every day I read the news and I shake my head. I'm like, oh my God. Like how? Oh my God.
That's our Friday morning show. And see, and that's part of what Z and I
Friday morning, the ministers talking shit.
Exactly. That's part of what Z and I do is we work to not bring all that stuff into the Tuesday longer form conversation.
Right.
We don't want to deny that it's there, and we don't dissect it. We don't dig into it. Right. We don't let ourselves express some of that kind of stuff. Where Friday mornings we can. It's a release. It's the outlet, and that's kind of what I encourage in people too. Is it's okay to have an outlet.
Oh, you need it.
It's okay to be informed. You need it. But you don't need to inundate yourself with 24/7 cable news or even New Thought news or even any all thing. There's reason and there's need for each of these various aspects, and to bring that balance, I guess, is what I'm getting to in our lives is important. Not being overwhelmed by any of it.
Yeah.
Well, folks, it is about that time for us to take a quick break, let you learn a little bit more about some of the things we've got going on and some of the things we want you to know about in the New Thought movement, and to let our guests grab a quick sip of water. So we'll be back in just over a minute or so. Stay with us. We've got more to come with Reverend Dr. Michele Wadleigh here on the New Thought today on part of the New Thought Media Network. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you passionate about media, storytelling, and making a difference? Welcome to New Thought Media Network, where your voice matters. We amplify diverse voices and share impactful stories. Join us in our mission. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to creativity and community, looking for enthusiastic volunteers who want to be part of something bigger, learn, grow, and collaborate in various aspects of media production. Incredible support and camaraderie await you here. Your contributions will help us create powerful content that resonates with audiences and drives social change.
Ready to make a difference? Visit our website www.ntmedia.org to learn more about volunteer opportunities and how you can get involved.
Find our volunteer inquiry under the Engage tab on our website, or visit www.ntmedia.org/volunteer. We look forward to connecting with you soon.
Welcome to Science of Mind Archives, your gateway to spiritual wisdom. Join us for our grand opening gala. Experience a weekend of inspiration. Enjoy a ribbon-cutting ceremony, a gala dinner and workshops, plus a labyrinth walk and town hall. Connect with a community of seekers. Explore spiritual teachings and resources. Find your path to personal growth. Join us from April 24th to 27th. Lodging options are still available. Visit our website www.scienceofmindarchives.com for more details. Please RSVP by March 15th. Featuring Reverend Jesse Jennings, musical inspirations with Karen Drucker, and the spirit of Ernest Holmes. Come celebrate our new home at Unity Village, Lee's Summit, Missouri, and please visit www.scienceofmindarchives.com.
And we're back with more of New Thought today here on the New Thought Media Network. My co-host, Reverend Elzia, and I are pleased to welcome dear friend and special guest. And I want to add regular guest to your title around here. Rev Jersey Girl, Reverend Michele Wadleigh, for coming in today. And we've been having a great conversation so far. And I want to keep it going and get and project a little bit out. Right? I think we all agree New Thought and is at a point where our intention, our consciousness, our voice, the way we live life, the way this movement has expressed itself, we all believe is necessary for the evolution of what comes next. And that's kind of the question. What do you see, Dr. Michele, coming down the line, coming in the next, as we all, as this continues to progress forward, this thing called life, kind of what are we becoming as organizations, as a movement? Whoop, I think we've lost your mic.
There we go. Sorry. I said I do have an opinion, but because I'm putting my mouth I'm putting my actions where my mouth is, I'm lighting my candle now.
Oh, good. There we go.
I commit to keeping this light burning in my window, my front window, for all the world to see 24/7. So just wanted to let you know that.
Okay.
I actually think where New Thought is going, I think it has to go back to grassroots.
Yes.
And I fully appreciate, and I'm behind it. The whole social activism point. Yes, we have to be the walk, right? But a little bit before that, because I'm not feeling like we have the muscle that we need right now. And I think the muscle will come from when we go back to the details, to thank you notes. This is going to sound silly. I know that someone here is like, oh, please grow up, right? I get it. But I was an RSC, which is Regional Support Coordinator, for those, listening that might not know. And I talked to people, a lot about how they were and how their communities were. And there was a lot of frustration and a lot of upset and a lot of confusion and fear and doubt. And so before I think that New Thought can claim a new era in the way it will impact the world, I think we have to step back a tiny bit, not in retreat, but to shore up the foundation of us. And I believe in my heart and soul that foundation is going to come one person at a time, one phone call at a time, one act of kindness at a time, for the people in our communities, for the ministers who are out there sweating and not making any money and trying to hold things together. Like, let's take care of home base and make it solid, so that then we have more of what we need to take out into the world. That's my thought. I think what's next is a little bit more of what was an aggressive movement type thing.
Yeah, I think the grassroots is most definitely, I think, reemerging itself right now, because it's the grassroots that's always getting affected by these mass changes, if you will. And I think when we can come together and recognize, there's that saying that we may have come over here in different ships, but we're all in the same boat right now. Mm-hmm. And we have to work together. We have to be diligent. And as I thought thinking about it, that there are things that we can begin to do to reignite that. When I go back to my grassroots days, when I was a revolutionary, if you will, I mean, we had dialogues, we had education. We sat down and made policies together with the so-called other at that time. We had these dialogues, and then we had community engagement and advocacy, research. Those are the things that we need, and it just all wraps back around. And that's what we have to begin to do today. Go back to those those peace marches, those revolutionary marches, and how they engaged the system to expose things that were not righteous, as they would say, and those things that promoted growth and health and togetherness.
Yes. Yes.
Not to go back on what we were just saying, but there is a clergy march of New Thought and New Thought adjacent and progressive Christianity happening tomorrow, starting at the Supreme Court and marching to the Capitol building. And we collectively know a number of people that will be there, and adding their physical presence to what I believe is what we're talking about here, that grassroots consciousness, being there for each other. And some people are going to be called to be there for a little bit bigger of maybe a project or a reason. But if we can be there for each other first, we're coming back to a prime value people.
I remember when I went down, I'm not that much of an out loud activist. I'm very caring about human rights and teach about it and speak about it and do all that. I've done, provided a lot of anti-racism training when I was in the pulpit, for a number of years, and happy about all that. And I was one of the people that went down with William Barber to El Paso, Texas, to go in front of the detention center where they were holding immigrant families. And so I have, it's not that I don't do that. And I do remember going to the Women's March and feeling like righteous, feeling that sense of righteousness. But really, really right now, I want to be able to walk down the street and engage others in the way that you were talking about. And I'm not going to let this conversation go by. I will make sure that I do something. I will make sure that I have an open house and that I encourage other people to do the same thing. I will, because I do put my action where my mouth is. I will commit and stick to it. Because we need that. We need people to depend upon, and I want to be one of those people.
And again, that to me, that speaks to that grassroots vibe, if you will, as the young folks say, in that there was always, like in my neighborhood when I was growing up, there was one guy, if something happened to your bike, you knew exactly where to take it because he knew everything about the bike. He could take it apart, put it together, fix it, find spare parts. He was the bike man, right? And so when we have those kinds of resources in our community at the grassroots level, we can begin to support one another and uplift one another so that we get stronger, so that we form a tighter bond, a closer bond, not in an exclusionary way, but in a way to show what can be done when we work together in that, that elusive thing called oneness that we're seeking.
And there's a whole subculture that's really growing again. People working in the form of communes, people that are buying homesteads, that are growing their own food. There's a lot of that going on. There's a lot. I compared to what? I don't know. But I know, because I've done some research about it because I got interested. People buying their own property, people, getting off the grid, people growing their own food, some of them doing it in a communal way. I saw something the other day about this company which will, if say we wanted to have a group of 5 or 10 families, he would help us to buy the land and to build so that we could live together as a group of individuals. I love that idea.
I need that name.
I love that idea.
Well, and I want to validate that for a moment because I have, from the day I first read Michael Singer's books,
Yeah.
I have held a vision of a community building itself, creating itself, governing itself from the New Thought principle. And then when when he wrote his second book, The Surrender Experiment, it pretty much solidified for me not only the possibility but the eventuality of such a thing.
Right.
And I'm with you because I have heard over the last few years, and this has been over the last few years, I am continually introduced to more and more people that are coming to their own variation or version, or a desire to see this without knowing how to be involved or who to be involved. And so Spirit put it in my head last week. I bought another URL out that I own out there. And when it's ready, we'll tell you folks all about it. But you're right. To me, this is another place where the divine spirit, the oneness, whatever name you want to call it, folks, is downloading itself through a whole lot of various people to say, here's what you all should be paying attention to in the human realm moving forward, because times we're on the Dylan theme today, aren't they? Times they are a changing, people.
Yep.
And what I love about our conversations here is we get to talk to people that understand that and are working towards that. Not trying to, I keep going back to Sharif Abdullah's breakers or builders, breakers or creators. And we're the creator side. And I get it. I got to understand that breaker side, but I don't have to, park my RV there. I don't have to build a tent there.
Right. Yeah. And it's going to seem like this is from left field, and it is to a degree, but it'll blend in, I promise. Again, this goes back to me leaving the pulpit, and I have to admit, I was living under the banner of that, I'm retired, so I don't make enough money. And I was like functioning like that. Everything's about consciousness, right? And then I got my head on straight. And I thought, wait a minute, let me look at what the reality is. So I started doing my own assessment and started tracking some numbers, and I realized I was full of it. And my world, my financial world, was better than I thought it was. But what happened was, somewhere when I left the pulpit, while I was giving, I wasn't really tithing. And it was my spiritual practice for 30 years, longer, to be a literal tither, 10% gross, no matter what, because it grew my consciousness, not because I thought I was going to get something out of it. Right. And so I'm back to growing my consciousness by tithing a literal 10%. And I do it when I get money in, I tithe immediately. I tithe to a variety of places. But I'm saying this to you because some of us are allowing fear to dictate what we do and how we hold on to our money. And if you don't like the word tithing, and I know many people don't because it's an old Christian term. I get that. Call it what you want. But if you really want to expand your consciousness and be part of change, begin to tithe to people and or organizations, not for the tax break, but because it promotes them and it expands your consciousness. Because I got to tell you, you look at the Christians and the churches they're building and the land they're gathering. They don't do that from spindly little donations. They do it because they believe in tithing. And so we who are conscious have to activate this law of flow and prosperity. Why? So we can make things like what we're talking about happen. It doesn't happen on a spit and a prayer. It takes cold, hard cash. So be part of it, be part of the solution. I don't know. I get a little hot about certain subjects sometimes.
Well, I think, with that, folks, I think there's no better time than the present and this exact moment. to take another quick break and say thank you to the people that are doing exactly what Dr. Michele is talking about for us. So we're going to take one more moment, say thank you to our organizational sponsors and our individual donors. But please don't go away. We'll be right back with more Reverend Dr. Michele Wadleigh here on New Thought Today. Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring. And we're back with more of New Thought
Set you up
Today.
well, didn't I?
You did set us up very well.
I didn't need to, but yeah.
And I want to bring in a very special recognition in there because I think you are truly the only person that shows up 3 times in that video, because you're associated with Planned Happiness Institute, you're associated with Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, and you and your husband, Reverend Neil, are individual contributors as well, and so your name's on the final slide as well.
Nice. Well,
He's been there twice. He's a close runner-up.
I believe that we got to flood the airwaves with goodness. Matter of fact, I went into AI. It's my new passion. I love AI. It's a little scary. You can have a relationship, and I actually say please and thank you. So I asked AI to give me a list of songs, peace type songs. And so I have to get through the 40 days of Lenten practice, because I'm doing a 40-day practice through my Substack group. But for people who are paid subscribers, and but then we're going to flood my social media with videos from songs that make you smile, that make you feel good, that make you remember your youth and a time of ease and grace and peace. And I'm really hoping other people are going to share these everywhere. And let's just get some good vibes going out there.
Amen.
Martha Beck. You know who Martha Beck is?
Hold on. We're going to...
Huh?
I got to share this with you, though, because you both now said the magic word of the day.
What?
That's vibe.
Raising the vibe. Oh,
we're out here on New Thought Media Network. You said it earlier, Michele. You just said it. We're all about raising the vibe, and I agree with you. Let's flood the airwaves with as many things as we can do. We're right now in the middle of the season for nonviolence, just past the halfway mark of the season for nonviolence, and sharing. You can get on an email list, folks, and get a daily email with a 10-minute meditation video. And yes, Michele, you still are on the list to record one. Yes, so we'll get you scheduled for that. But any way we can, and this is another one of my favorite topics, any way we can to create an environment of positivity in our lives, from the videos we watch to the music we listen to. I've finally rigged up everything. I even have it's got its own phone. I have a phone specifically dedicated to playing the New Thought radio station on a very nice sound system behind me on the wall that you can't see, so that with a couple of clicks, I'm immersed in a positive new thought environment. And that's what I hear you sharing. So I'm looking forward to these videos. I want to see them. I want to put them out there, help you put them out there for sure.
You know, I was Martha Beck. She's new in my mind. Do you know who she is?
I have not heard the name.
Author, you know, and she has a great Instagram following. And she put out this great video the other day that's on my personal page. And what she did, she sat in front, she created out of sugar cubes a pyramid, just like, you know, the hierarchy of everything. But what she did, she talked about how to melt down the hierarchy by, she had the sugar cube in a pan so that, you know, so that when she poured the liquid, but then she poured this liquid in so you could see it. She poured it in the bottom of the pan, and the liquid was a metaphor for love. And that how all you had to do was start at the bottom and keep that going and keep that going. And what happened was it melted away. The top, it had to be deconstructed, and it was deconstructed with love. So that's what your New Thought Station does. That's what the music does. That's what these conversations do. That's hopefully what our candles and the light will do. It'll remind people of possibility. We can stop the action, but we have to be almost sneaky. We have to be moles in the world of hate, fear, and doubt. We have to be moles that go in there and do it in the most quiet way, so they don't see us coming.
And we get a chance to throw hearts before they start throwing arrows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I'm contemplating, trying to choose my words, because I said I'm going to choose better words in 2025. How to begin, as we said earlier, to really not see a other in the terms of other, but to see it as a aspect of myself that I need to hug and heal, so that the oneness becomes greater or more intensified. And it's a work in progress, but that's what I'm working on.
Yep. There's a Sanskrit word. It's tatwamasi. Tatwamasi. It means I am that thou art, which is, you know, kind of what you do when you have a namaste bow, right? And it's, you know, the divinity in me salutes and celebrates the divinity in you. But tatwamasi is what you can use when you're looking around and you think you see another, and in your mind and in yourself, you just say tatwamasi, and to know that you are the same. Not the same. You're of the same.
Yeah, thank you. That is I think a very important distinction. Not the same, but of the same.
Yeah.
Is a very important distinction. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, folks, I love it. And I didn't share this, but I'm wearing my love sweatshirt.
Wait. Let me say it again. Love, open, vibe, energy is the answer. Nice.
Is the answer. Yes. This is a Rev Skip product. Rev Skip's got a program here now on Friday mornings. Reverend Skip Jennings and his co-host Cynthia Breeze out of Las Vegas, the High Vibe Hour. That's at 11 o'clock on Fridays. So
very cool. Very cool.
That out, folks. Dr. Michele, it has been an absolute pleasure having you with us today, and I believe I know your heart and your heart of service. So I know if I ask you to come back, you'll say yes, and we'll do that again, hopefully a little more often than we have, and have you back a little more regularly.
I would love to come back to it to talk about the peace concert when we can.
Oh yes,
that
definitely.
would be fantastic.
Yes,
and remind us of the date of that again.
June 14th, the day before Father's Day.
Okay.
June
Folks,
14th.
we'll make sure to get some more promotional material up on the network for you so you can learn more about that and find out more about it. We are just about out of time, but we never quite go anywhere without our final thoughts. So, Rev Z, kick us off on some final thoughts today, if you would, sir.
Yeah, I think I think the final thought is let's go back to that old grassroots perspective. When you talked about co-ops. I mean, I was a part of a group way many years ago. I won't tell you when, where the effort was to form a land co-op, so that and it's actually now up and running for several decades. Where they got together, they purchased the land together, they set up a communal fire station and and it's still running right now. Got their own school.
Great.
And the cooperative still working.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Dr. Michele, how about for you?
Light a candle, put it in your front window. Let people wonder why it's there, and keep the light on. Keep the light on. That's my final thought.
Oh, there we go. All right. I can see it coming. A flood of candles in the window on social media. Everybody sharing their candles.
So
I love it. Folks, the one that really comes through for me today is it's people. It always comes back to the people for me. And what do I got to do for myself? Yes, but more importantly, what can I do to support and serve the people that are around me, that are out in the world making their way, that are, whether, doesn't matter where or how. I think that we all have an opportunity to play a role in creating a world that works better for people. And so that's part of what I'm dedicated and what I'm sharing today. Let's be about the people.
yeah, thank you. Love you guys.
Love you, dear one. Thank you all for being with us. We'll be back again next week. But until then, we're going to wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.
Love y'all.